Good evening. Welcome to the Design Review Board meeting of June 12th, 2025. It's 5:05 p.m. The DRB meeting is now called to order, so please refrain from talking among yourselves during the meeting and please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones at this time. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting the questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current DRB agendas and staff reports are available by visiting our website at www.glendaleca.gov. Records of decisions for all projects will be posted on the Planning Division website. A handout describing the procedures of the meeting, possible board decisions, and DRB appeal is available from staff. Please note that any appeal of a case heard today must be filed within 15 calendar days of the DRB decision date. Meetings are also archived on the city website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. Roll call. Board member.
Are we live right now? Just, we're not on the TV over here, that's why. Yeah, we are good.
I thought we were. Let me call GTV6. Thank you for pointing that out.
That's a first.
Hi, are we live?
Second story.
Yeah. We don't see anything on the monitor. Yeah, okay. Thank you. We're live.
We're live, cool.
Okay, so let's roll call. Board member Halajian.
Here.
Board member Simonian.
Present.
Board member Welch.
Here.
Chair, Board member Lockruff is absent, and Chair Kaskanian.
Here.
Reports regarding posting of agenda. The agenda for the June 12, 2025 regular meeting of the Glendale Design Review Board was posted on the city's website on June 5th, 2025, and on the bulletin board outside City Hall on June 9th, 2025. Approval of the minutes for May 22nd, 2025.
Proceed with the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. And we have oral communications. That would be discussions is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Design Review Board may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. And I don't have any oral communication cards at this time. Did you receive any? No? Okay. So with that, any board member comments?
I just want to make one comment. I just want to congratulate Paulina on her first case today. So really happy to have you on board. And for those who don't know, Paulina is also was involved in our community in the city of Glendale from a young age. So it's good to see her here today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I echo the same. We're very happy to have Paulina here with us. So moving forward, we do not have anything on old business, so we can jump straight to new business. And we have 1530 West Kenneth Road, DRB case number 004-383-2025. Mr. Chair, would you like to?
We can get started.
There you go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Let me just present this. Good evening, and thank you, Chair and board members. This case number is PDR 004383 for the project site located at 1530 West Kenneth Road. The project site is a 8,750 square foot rectangular shaped corner lot located in the R1 zone FAR District 1 near the Kenneth Village neighborhood. Originally developed in 1936, the site currently features a one-story, approximately 2,000 square foot single-family dwelling with an attached two-car garage. There's a slope on the lot where the property fronts on Kenneth Road and slightly levels down towards Roberta Avenue. The top left photo is the view from the corner of Kenneth and Roberta. The top right photo is the view on Roberta Avenue, and the bottom center photo is the view from the rear of the property facing out towards Roberta Avenue. The existing garage is currently 357 square feet with a proposed addition of 143 square feet, totaling to a 500 square foot two-car garage. The proposed second-story addition above the garage will be a total of 578 square feet. The site is accessed via an existing driveway along Roberta Avenue and is set to remain as existing, with the exception of adding landscape to the southwest corner of the lot to minimize the existing hardscape. The drawings identify a landscape patch along the portion of the driveway, but no other information is provided on what kind of plant material will be installed. So staff is recommending a condition of approval that the applicant provide more information regarding the plant material with a consideration given to drought-tolerant plant materials. And also the trash enclosure area is not noted on the site plan, so staff is recommending a condition of approval that the drawing to be revised to address the trash enclosure area. So these are the proposed floor plans, the first floor plan and the second floor plan of the addition. So as mentioned previously, the scope of the project includes a second-story addition of about 578 square feet, which will accommodate for another bedroom, office, laundry room, and bathroom with a balcony, and enlarging the existing garage with no proposed architectural style change to the home. Overall, the site planning is appropriate with the footprint centrally sited on the lot, similar to what is there now, but with an expanded footprint towards the on Roberta Avenue frontage. The street does not have a predominant setback pattern, and the proposed addition fronting Roberta will not bring the house closer to the street. These are the colored elevation drawings. Overall, the mass and scale of the one-story project is appropriate to the contemporary design, concept, and context of the surrounding neighborhood, which features a mix of architectural styles. The proposed house will be two-story with the addition, and there are some two-story homes within the neighborhood closely by, which is consistent with the existing conditions of the surrounding neighborhood. The massing is broken up through the use of stepped building forms at the front facade and changes in the facade plane along the north elevation and varied roof heights. The overall height of the new house, or the addition, will now be 23 feet and 4 inches, where 28 feet is the maximum permitted. The project includes a hip roof design that is compatible with the overall project, and the use of a 4-1 roof pitch for the addition is consistent with the existing home. In terms of design and detailing, the consistency in the use of materials and colors reinforces the existing design concept. New vinyl windows are proposed for the addition, and they will be casement operation, nail and frame, recessed within the opening with a frame and wood sill underneath the window. Their operation, however, their operation and installation are appropriate and similar to the existing windows on the house. However, staff is suggesting condition to use higher quality window material, so not vinyl, similar to the existing windows currently on the house, since the existing windows will remain unchanged. Also, just a note that the window section detail on sheet 814 of the plans to be revised and correspond to the nail and frame shown on the window schedule. The new window shutters are proposed at the front facade of the addition facing the street, contribute to a visually congested facade. Staff recommends a condition of approval to remove the shutters on the new addition to achieve a more balanced and less cluttered appearance. There's also a new white wooden gate that is proposed at the entrance of the side yard fronting Roberta, and staff is recommending a condition to paint the gate a more neutral cream tone to match the existing color palette of the home. And I'll show you what it would look like in the white, which is why we conditioned it this way in the next slide. Well, this is the rendering. The proposed materials for the house include smooth white stucco, an asphalt shingle roof, and white vinyl windows. Just give it a second. This is the material sheet that was provided. So as you could see, the wooden gate painted white, it gives it more of a vinyl appearance. So painting it a more neutral cream color might blend in with the home better. The new light fixture on the top left corner is going to be at the right side of the garage entrance. It's just one light fixture there. And then the color of the new roof shingles are going to be in milestone, and the color of the stucco is going to be white truffle, which is matching the existing. And then that will be the new garage door on the bottom left, an example of what it would look like. And then those are the shutters that are proposed, which were conditioned to be removed. And then these are, the staff recommendation, the conditions. So just to go over this quickly, staff is recommending that board moves to revise the color of the new wooden side entry gate to match an off-white beige color similar to the home, include the material for the new balcony railing on the addition, and submit a cut sheet of the new balcony railing on the new addition appropriate to the style of the house for staff to review and approve. Submit planting details for the new landscape area proposed on the southeast side of the property adjacent to the driveway for staff to review and approve. Landscape should be drought-tolerant plant materials. Use higher quality window material, not vinyl, similar to existing windows currently on the house, and revise the window schedule to correspond to the nail and frame shown on the window schedule. Remove the shutters on the new addition to achieve a more balanced and less cluttered appearance on the front facade. And lastly, identify the trash area on the site plan and mechanical equipment at an appropriate location for staff to review and approve. And as it relates to public comments, staff has received one written comment in favor of the addition. The comment letter has been provided to you for your consideration, and copies are kept on file with the planning department. Staff is recommending approval of the project with 6 conditions related to landscape details, color palette, and materials. That concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Any comments, questions for staff? Nope.
Nope.
Okay. We can open it up to the public now. Milk, in the past we used to have the call out where it would say like applicant or architect, and it's not like that anymore. Do we, are we still gonna have the applicant usually?
Let's have the
come?
applicant
Okay.
first.
So I have Laura Gates, Richard Westwood, and Vardan Kasmian, whoever the applicant is, or architect that wants to go first. Okay.
I'm Laurel Gates.
Okay. If you could just state your name for the mic.
Hi, I'm Laurel Gates. Typed up a little note here for everyone. So good evening, members of the Design Review Board. Thank you for dedicating your time this evening to evaluate our project. My husband and I have been proud residents of Glendale since 2008, living in the home we cherish in the Kenneth Village neighborhood. Over the years, our family has grown significantly. We now have 3 wonderful teenagers who have thrived in this great community. Our children have formed strong friendships here, with our youngest son's closest friend living just 5 houses away. As our family has expanded, we find ourselves in need of additional space to accommodate our evolving needs. Our desire is to remain in our beloved home while making it more functional for our family. After carefully considering our budget and exploring various options, we've decided on a 2nd floor addition above the existing garage. We believe this approach is an efficient use of space that is both modest and reasonable, ensuring the design seamlessly integrates with the existing aesthetic of our home. This decision was not made lightly. We have carefully evaluated each option to ensure the design is aesthetically pleasing, practical, and harmonious with the original style of the house. We hope to earn your approval today, allowing us to enhance our home and continue contributing to the beauty of Glendale. Thank you once again for your time and consideration. We look forward to many more joyful years in this community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask?
Well, we have one question.
So the staff had prepared 6 conditions for this. Do you have any comment or feelings that you want to react to those?
No, I mean, I think we're flexible and understanding of all of them, so I don't see that any of those would be a barrier or a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Another note, yeah.
In regards to the windows, what is, in regards to the windows, what are the existing window material of the house?
Wood, primarily wood, right? Yep.
Wood, and the new windows that are being added, for example, I'm looking at the proposed second floor plan. We have 3 casement windows, double casements each, and then on the right side, above the stairway, there's another casement as well. And the drawings indicate that to be an operable window. However, you know, it's really high in the air, and the stairs are way below, so it's really impractical to open it. And so what I'm getting at is we might be able to simplify the facade a bit if those shutters are dear to your heart, where it won't be as congested as a window design, because really that right window above the stair could be simplified. So what was the mindset of the shutters that were proposed?
Well, we have shutters on the front of our house. I know it's not visible here, but I have a picture I could show. But we do have shutters on the front of the house, so that's why we thought, oh, it would just make it a little less stark looking. You know, we just, yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in, but, so we thought that would be a good way to,
The top left picture on Kenneth or
Yeah.
Roberta?
on Kenneth, sorry. The
Kenneth.
front of the house that faces Kenneth.
Okay, and then the elevations or the renderings depict renderings on Roberta as well, on the right side, on the existing portion. Are those existing, or are those going to be added as new?
Which ones? Sorry.
Like if staff could put up the renderings, sheet A12. So for example, on the right, top right image, are those shutters new or existing on the top right?
Oh,
of the-
actually, I don't think there are shutters there. Are you looking at the one right above the little brick wall?
Correct. So on the top right image,
That's an existing window, but I don't think there are shutters there, right? Yeah. So that's. Sorry, which one, what are we?
Just to the right of the tree, I guess.
Yeah. This one or this?
Oh.
Yeah. Currently, there are no shutters there.
okay, and.
You can come back.
Will you come back so we could get everything on tape? So there's no shutters currently on the existing windows surrounding the existing windows off of Roberta, but what is proposed is to add shutters throughout the home of the existing and the new. Is that what's being proposed?
That's proposed, yes, yeah.
Understood. Okay.
And can I ask you a question? When you asked about simplifying the I guess the fourth window on the addition, the one high up, what are you envisioning there?
Maybe like smaller, not as big, not as tall, something smaller, or something not as operable,
Okay.
maybe a
Yeah,
fixed
just-
window.
yeah, sorry, just wanted to understand that. Yeah, I think we're flexible.
Okay. I have no other
Any other
questions.
questions?
No.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We have either Richard or Vardan, whoever wants to go up first. If you could just state your name, please.
Sure, Richard Westwood. I'm consulting architect for the project.
Very nice
So,
to meet you.
It was a great process in this because the owners were very concerned to make sure that it fit in. And I think they've done a good job in having it fit in. I think the suggestion with the higher window at the stairs, it was made to be a little bit, to fit in with all the other windows rather than have this shorter window there. Also, it makes it easier, a little bit easier to reach, to be able to operate it if it is a longer window. If you put it down, then it's going to create an awkward situation. The shutters on the new addition, I think they could be modified. I think they need to be kept because they do add to the house and the appearance of the house, the curb appeal of that house. I think that there's something we might be able to make them a little smaller or narrower, that they might fit in and it may not seem so cluttered. But I would hope that we could keep those shutters and not revise those. But I think it really fits in because of the slope of right there at Roberta, that new addition doesn't go really high because it's on top of the garage. And so it really nestles it down into the context of the street right there. And it looks really, really good and appealing. So I would hope that you could approve that without that condition of the shutters. And we can look at them again and make them, maybe adjust them a little bit. And that window, it's not a no-brainer that we could make something work. But it would be best, I think, if it was a little left the same because of the operation of it, because of the light that it gives, the staircase right there, because of the opportunities that it gives the interior aesthetics as well. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, we do have some questions.
Which are the egress windows? Because the front, the one on the facade is a bedroom, so which are the egress windows? The ones facing Roberta or the ones on the backside?
I'm going to have to bow to Vartan that. They're the ones who put the drawings together. I was just consulting.
Okay. So, the staff's point was that the facade is a little busy, and their goal is to try to simplify it to make it less
Right.
cluttered, less busy looking. Can you think of other solutions that you might propose to help along that? If the goal is keeping the shutters, how else might you suggest we consider guiding this towards a more simplified facade?
Yeah, that's why I say the shutters, we could look at just the size of them to narrow them down a little bit. And I think it would still have the same appeal, but just less cluttered. I think the shutters, with them being narrowed, I think it'll still add to the aesthetics of that facade.
Okay.
And I think it'll make them appear less cluttered.
So have them basically not scaled so that if they actually were theoretically closed, they'd cover the windows.
just
So
be
something
aesthetics,
narrower
yes.
than that, you're
Yep.
saying?
Yep, and I think it would make that facade appear to be less cluttered. But then it still keeps them with the context of what they're trying to do and with some other houses in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Simone, any other question?
No. Thank you.
Just a quick question. As far as on page 813, the extent of the scope, it says new kitchen there. What's the extent of the scope of the new kitchen? Is it from the?
Because of as Laurel said, the growing family, trying to make it a little function better and useful. We're taking out a little wall for the dining room, taking that out so it's able to move around better, and it's just a lot more functional now.
I see. So it's only interior work, you're not proposing anything
It's just
exterior?
interior
Okay.
right there.
Thank you. And as far as the, on page A5, there's the window table that says existing, or window schedule, I'm sorry. It says existing material vinyl, that is inaccurate. You'll revise that? Because the existing windows are wood windows.
Right,
Yep.
they're wooden windows.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker we have is Vartan Kasmian. If you could state your name for the mic, please.
Hello staff, my name is Vardan Ksemian, and I would just like to add on some of the points. Thank you everybody, thank you Paulina, because her presentation was great. Thanks everybody for adding on their comments, because they've made it much easier. But as far as it goes, I think the owners did their best to try to compromise with the planning department. We've been working with them a long time actually, and we think it's honestly the best place possible we could have came up with to try to do this addition. As far as the conditions go, we're okay with the conditions. They seem like they're easy things that are not going to cause much problems for us. And the shutters, I would think something we would like to maybe give it optional. So just in case if they do want it, or maybe they might agree with the staff and they see it as too much, then we can remove it off the final. We don't want to be stuck with it. But at the same time, we would like you guys to consider it. So just in case, as far as the window goes, the shutters that it is existing is on the front facade facing Kennett, which we don't have a good photo to share with you guys right now. But there is existing shutters on the house. And other than that, everything else is fine with us. We appreciate your time. Good to see you guys again.
Thank you.
And hopefully we get this approved moving forward for them so they can expand their house.
Would you just
Much
clarify the
needed.
question I asked earlier about which are the egress windows for that bedroom? Are they the ones facing the street or the ones facing the neighbor?
They're the ones facing the street. There's
The ones
both
facing the
of them
street.
are.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Nope, okay. Do we have any callers?
No color.
All right,
No, not
thank
at the
you.
moment.
Okay, so we'll close the public portion, go into deliberation. Board Member Simonian, did you want to get us going?
Sure, thank you. This is, modest addition to an existing home. We're adding a second floor, and I don't particularly have any issues with it. In regards to the windows, especially since they're kind of higher up, if the rest of the house is of wood windows, then it'd be nice to kind of match it. However, that's not something I have always put my finger on in the past. I'm okay with vinyl windows generally on additions, especially if it's not present from the street. In this case, it's on Roberta, it's on the second floor, it's a bit more prominent. And, but I could go either way on that, so I don't think that that's something that it's as important to me. The balcony railing, as staff has recommended, I think that's a good thing to have as far as a cut sheet. The landscaping on the southeast corner, that makes sense as well. As far as the shutters are concerned, I do think that the shutters are busy on the second floor. It seems as though having the additional light is of importance to them, so making that fourth window smaller probably is not the wisest choice if they need all that light. But I do think that those shutters are really somewhat unnecessary above the garage. If they want to add it on the existing portion of the house just to soften it up a bit, I could see that. I mean, that's just completely a preference thing. But even the west elevation of the second floor, they're not adding shutters there, so it's just occurring on above the garage, which I think is ornamental and won't seem, I'll seem out of place. And so I'm okay with staff's comments. I'll certainly go either way on the windows, but I'm okay with vinyl as well. But I do recommend deleting the shutters above the garage. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Walsh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By and large, I agree. I support the project. I think it's very in keeping with the neighborhood. It's the proper planning location for it in terms of where it is on the site, above the garage. Gives you a slightly bigger and more functional garage. So I think all of those things are good. I think that I concur with Board Member Simonian. I'm not hung up on the vinyl windows. I think, vinyl windows these days are of a much better quality than, they have historically been. So I think as long as they're presented to the staff and the staff signs off on them in terms of the visual appeal, I'm okay with that. But it is the cluttering issue that I think concerns me as well. I think there's a number of different solutions that you can do to declutter that a little bit. Removing the shutters is certainly one. I would be in favor of that. I think there's other solutions that could be done. I don't really see the shutters as a critical element of the design of the house right now. I went to the house, I walked it from both sides. Honestly, I saw the shutters because I was looking for them. I'm like, there's supposed to be shutters here, and I didn't see them on the Roberta side. But I did, when I saw them on the front, they're like hidden away in the porch area. So, they're there, but I don't consider them material in terms of the impact of the design. I think what's more impactful is just the groupings of the windows, you know, like the little alcove you have in the kitchen. I think that's probably the most, you know, prominent feature of that side of the house. So, you know, speaking to that, I think would be more interesting to me, getting rid of the windows that are in the bedroom with replacing it with like a little window seat like that to echo that, or, you know, maybe having a single larger window in the bedroom and two smaller windows in the closet and the staircase. That could be a way that would look better. So there's a lot of ways you could play around with that. I just think that, you know, I concur with staff that it's just a little busy. So I think that I would like to see the condition adjusted to say, restudy these things to make it less cluttered. You can be a little bit more creative with it. You know, it just doesn't have to be just strip off the shutters. I would just like for you to look at some way to simplify that. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, I think you've done a great job here, so I support the project. So, thank you.
Thank you. Member Halajian?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In general, again, I'm in support of the project. I would like to echo my colleagues, Mr. Simonian and Mr. Welsh here. The windows with the shutters do seem busy, and I think there's creative ways to come up with more clean, sophisticated look, if you will, especially if you compare it with your rest of your house. You have this beautiful wood windows, you know, in various sizes. You can certainly play how Mr. Welsh suggested, you know, maybe bigger window in the middle and then smaller on the sides. That would be my recommendation. As far as the material, you know, vinyl versus wood, it's on the second story, 27 feet away from the street or from the curb, so it's really hard to tell whether that's a vinyl or wood window. So I have no preference. I would suggest in maybe long term you'll be more happy with uniform wood windows, but again, I leave that up to you how you want to approach the material. And just want to point out I want to emphasize on 2 points that the staff recommended as well. One of them is landscaping. I think you can come up with better landscaping plan and improve on that landscaping. And the gate, it does seem, it does provide that vinyl look. So maybe we can propose something more creative. So those are my recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. I overall in support. Congratulations on your expansion of your family. It's really happy times to, like, you know, build a bigger house, of course. Overall in support of the project, but I do agree with the shutters. It does look very cluttered. I do think that there is a better, you know, design out there that we could, you know, study. So I'm in support of a restudy for that. But yeah, and overall, everything else that staff laid out, I'm in agreement with. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I make a recommendation, perhaps, as we're crafting a condition? When we suggest, you know, for them to go and study it, that might just take them more time because they need to study it, then they need to come back. Maybe we give them a condition where we say you could study it or you just get rid of the shutters. And this way they could move forward a little quicker if you choose not to have the shutters. But if they choose to study it, then you could go back and study it. But this way it kind of gives them that option, because I really truly believe that without the shutters we wouldn't have an issue. Mm-hmm. And so this way they could have that if scenario, and in the spirit of time that might help you guys out. So
I like that.
you know.
All right. So a restudy or removal of the shutters is what we want to, like, rephrase that to.
So condition number 5 would be remove the shutters or restudy
Study.
the second floor
Facing facade.
windows facing Roberta.
Yep.
Okay. And then for number 4, should we rephrase it to basically have them submit a cut sheet to staff for a window design or window option that'll be closely aligned with the existing windows for approval?
Sure.
And remove the reference to vinyl?
That's right. Yeah, even if it's a vinyl window for number 4. And so if it matches the profile of the existing windows, that should suffice as well.
Okay. Then we'll just remove the actual statement where it says no vinyl.
Great, thank you.
And then there was also a comment, Paulina noted about the applicant to revise the existing window schedule, because currently it shows existing
Vinyl,
vinyl.
yes, yes.
Should read wood.
Wood,
So
correct.
we'll document that as well.
Good catch.
And then any,
Vision.
and any other, oh, and there was a comment about, Paulina noted about Board Member Halaji, and you mentioned about, again, going back to that gate, to making it look less like a vinyl gate.
Right now, I mean, if I look at the rendering, it jumps vinyl to me. So maybe again, not restudy, just come up with creative design when it reflects wood gate rather than
Also,
vinyl
I
finish.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is, this gate this is not going to be the exact gate, but similar, correct? It's an example of it, so a different style of wood gate and different color.
No, I'm not disputing the style, just material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they're proposing wood anyway, so we'll make sure they specify wood, but you're okay with the design of it, it sounds like.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's just the material. All the other conditions were okay?
Yep.
Do we have a motion then for approval with the revised conditions?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, that was a motion by Board Member Halajian, and there was a second by Board Member Simonian to approve with the conditions and the one that we added about revising the schedule. Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
Board Member Simonian,
Yes.
Board Member Welch,
Yes.
Chair Kaskanian.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Approve with conditions.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the next case, and that would be with case planner Alan Lamberg. Yes. Well, it's on the website. Did you want us to print it for you? Oh, I thought it was the report that you wanted. I'm sorry, I thought it was the plans you wanted printed. The report? Okay, will do. Okay, I'll get that for you.
Do you want me to go print that out?
No, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. This is the applicant's card.
Okay. Do we have her address? Stephanie?
Address?
Just have her fill it out.
I only have 2 cards for this. There's a third one.
Have to put the address on it too, please. Thank you. Or is it address of the project or address?
Both.
both, please? Both the address,
It's a project for the address. That's good enough.
Okay.
Project for the address.
yeah,
Let me just
address for the
print this.
project.
Yes, thank you. I need to go print this really quick.
Do you want me to go and
I'll do it.
begin the presentation? Okay. I will begin in a few seconds as I bring up the presentation here.
I'll be right back, okay? You can start.
Okay. Thank you. Everyone ready? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, thank you, Chairperson Kanyan and board members Halajian, Simonian, Welch, and I recognize Senior Planner Toledo and Planning Associate Safarian. Good evening, members of the public. My name is Alan Lamberg, and I'm the case planner for this project. The application under consideration is 1920 Los Flores Drive. Design review at case number PDR 003957 2024. The proposal is to demolish an existing 1,800 square foot single-family dwelling built in 1940 and to construct a new two-story single-family dwelling with an attached garage accessible from the street, with accessory patios, balconies, swimming pool, and a detached cabana, all on the 9,680 square foot site. And now, one thing I wanted to bring up, this came to our attention last night as I was preparing this presentation. So long story short, I talked with my supervisor, and then I talked with the applicant and the owners. And so what you're looking at on the top of your plans there, on the very top, is the new project data, and then the immediately following pages are the new floor plan for first and second floor. And I will elaborate on those floor plans later in this presentation, but I just wanted to let you know, the board, that the applicant provided what we consider a minor amendment to their plan that still qualifies for this design review because it doesn't alter the findings that we have. And so I wanted to just briefly recognize what was proposed and noticed and explain what had changed. So just real briefly, what was proposed and noticed was a 3,718 square foot residence. That's the gross floor area. But unfortunately, we realized there was a zoning issue because it was proposing a 2-car garage and not 3. So we resolved that with the applicant, where they revised the floor plan, and now what is being proposed is a 3,623 square foot residence. So it's a little smaller, but it does exceed that threshold. The threshold is about 3,500 to get that 3-car garage, and that's a 715 square foot garage, as you'll see, and then what that includes on the second floor, a little expansion in the rear of the second floor that amounts to 167 square feet. Again, I'll elaborate shortly, but I just wanted to make you aware of that, and we'll proceed. The project qualifies for a Class 3 new construction or conversion of small structures exemption under Section 15303 of the state CEQA guidelines, as it involves a new single-family residence and accessory structures in an urbanized area zoned for such use without hazardous substances or environmental sensitivity concerns, and necessary public services are available, and the house that's being demolished is not considered a historic resource under CEQA. The project location is in Greenbrier neighborhood of Eastern Glendale, near Verdugo Park, and actually overlooking Verdugo Park. 1920 Las Flores is in the R1, R2 zone. That's restricted residential, floor area ratio District 2. As you can see, the interior lot is overlooking open space of Verdugo Park, and the lot features a gentle slope and is rectangular shaped. And the neighborhood consists mostly of 1- and 2-story single-family residences, primarily of ranch and minimal traditional architectural styles. In this exhibit, the plans that the applicant provided illustrates that the project's first and second floor building envelopes in relation to the existing house, and also shows the neighboring houses and their window locations, which demonstrates that there are no impacts to privacy. The rendering for the existing to the left and proposed to the right, you can see that the existing house is a minimal traditional ranch style, and that the new house is a Mediterranean or transitional Spanish revival architectural style. And as you can see in this rendering, it features a smooth stucco walls and light tones, a low-pitched asymmetrical roof form, recessed windows with wrought iron grills, small balconies, and elaborate entry door with decorative limestone precast surrounds. This is the site plan as it exists with the proposed demolition of the house and the cabana. And the proposed plan shows the building envelope within the required setbacks, and the site features a design-appropriate driveway, walkway, gate, and fence locations. The driveway leads access to that garage parking that's attached, which aligns with neighborhood patterns. And as conditioned, the project will protect and provide for city-owned street trees I think one of those includes planting a new city street tree in the public right-of-way. The landscape plan, as this view, as you can see from above, we can view the details of the living plant material, and behind the house you can see the rear covered patio, the swimming pool, and detached cabana. And now most of the proposed living plants are drought tolerant, except for just two, the Carolina cherry and the snow and summer. Those two that are highlighted on here, they're moderate water usage according to the California Center for Urban Horticulture. And as a condition of approval, the plans shall be revised before plan check so that all plants are low or very low water usage. In the first floor plan, so now here we're just going to compare what was originally noticed and currently proposed. So as you can see in the original noticed plan, behind the garage, there's an area that was envisioned as a bedroom and bath. So what changed, as you can see, is now it's a tandem parking space, and that, as I highlighted here, meets the zoning requirements. So there's now we no longer have a zoning issue with this revised plan. And once again, there's no other changes in the floor plan. And now if we go to the second floor, this was what was publicly noticed. And if we can compare what was submitted, as you can see, I've highlighted in yellow the areas of the expansion. So this yellow area totals about 167 square feet of additional area. And what you'll find with the conditions and findings of the report is that these areas, as they expand, that compensates, that keeps the applicant's goal of having that floor area over 3,500 square feet. And as proposed, that's 3,623 square feet. And those expansions, the reason why we consider this a minor amendment is because those expansions do not affect the mass and scale that's publicly visible from the street and visible from neighboring properties. Okay, so now I'm just going to briefly describe the characteristics of these floor plans. The first floor plan features a dining room and powder room facing the street. Behind are areas for living room, a kitchen, and a pantry. The 600 square foot rear covered patio is integrated under the second floor. And once again, the reason why a tandem, as a reminder to some people who might not know, having a third space in tandem behind that two-space garage is actually a permissible solution for garage parking for 3 spaces. Some people might wonder, why not? Aren't all parking spaces supposed to be immediately accessible? But not in this case. Our zoning code provides for these single-family uses to have a smaller garage, a less wider garage that's 2 spaces, and then have that third space in tandem. That keeps the massing down as seen from the street. The second floor, as minor amended, you see that the massing of the house up front is softened by varying low-pitched roof lines and projecting volumes and carefully positioned fenestration and uncovered balconies and changes in facade planes. Now, however, as a separate issue that we addressed in our findings and conditions, in the north west corner, I guess on this exhibit on the upper right-hand side, the straightforward setback along the building plane of the second floor, and by the way, if you see that red dashed line, that's the outline of the first floor, so you can see how this floor plan relates to the first floor's building envelope. So once again, that red dashed line is the building envelope of the first floor. However, a straightforward setback along the building plane of the second floor, bedroom and bathroom, does not sufficiently reduce the perceived massing at that north corner. So as a condition, the project shall restudy that massing and articulation of that corner to ensure a more articulate, balanced, and visually cohesive form. So now moving on to the roof plan. As seen above, you can see that the outlines of the hip roof for the first and second floors with skylights, balconies, and covered patios. In the elevation, we're looking at the east and west. The front, on the top is the rear, and the bottom is the front. Just some notes that we have in our findings that we've included as recommended conditions. When you look at the covered entryway, in the middle and the bottom there, that covered entryway still appears overly large. So to improve a facade balance, a condition is included to reevaluate that design and to reduce its mass, possibly, for example, by lowering the entryway height or adjusting the second floor balcony and planting area. Another item that we found on the front facade is that the proposed 8 light fixtures would over-illuminate the facade. So a condition will limit the exterior lighting to 3 fixtures on the street-facing facade, including under the entry, and also 2 on the rear, and that we want to clarify that there is no soffit or eave lights allowed. And lastly, as a condition that we're looking at, it does not appear that downspouts and utility connections they appear to be omitted from the plans at this stage, so we just mandate as a condition that we include them for staff review and approval before plan check. And now, generally, as I said, that this residence reflects the Mediterranean or transitional Spanish revival styles, again with that light toned stucco, asymmetrical roof and the recessed windows, and so on. And these we see quality materials that reinforce the style, including that smooth stucco and the red barrel clay tile roofing and wood corbels underneath the roof, and bronze finished recessed window frames and wrought iron gates. You'll see some more detail of that on the material board in a moment. And lastly, when looking at these elevations, the window and balconies placements, they don't pose any privacy concerns for neighbors. And then for your reference, since we bring up on the screen, just when we talk about that particular condition for the north, that north corner. So again, when you look at the front facade, you'll see the first floor here, and it jogs just a little bit. And in our condition, we just say that 1 foot articulation doesn't seem to be enough for the purposes of articulation. And then when you compare that with the elevation on the bottom here, that's the neighbor-facing side. And while that does have the appearance of breaking it up, it's just, we have to consider that seems to be one, just maybe to consider a restudy as a condition. So moving on the sections, it shows an 11-foot floor-to-ceiling height on the first floor, 10 feet on the second floor, and no basement or floor area under. And the design in detail, just to give you a little overview from the clockwise, you see in the middle here is the entry door with a type of window shutters for the entry door. They're wooden, dark brown. Here you have front yard pavers, a natural Tuscany beige. The downspouts, while they don't appear to be on the plan, they did provide materials for downspouts, a Bedford-style sheet metal, low gloss white. Here is the garage door, which will be arched, and this is the color, the Echo Teak wood. Here you have the finished material, the EIF details, and that there will be La Habra smooth steel trowel stucco. Here you have the entry detail. It's that limestone precast surround that'll go over the entry. And here you have a trim finish, limestone trim finishes. And here's a detail of the roof corbel that goes under the eaves. And here you have the clay roof tile, which is a classic tapered mission style, natural red. And lastly, the variety of custom French doors and windows that include glazing frame, glazing putty for the muntins, and the finish is a statuary bronze steel. Again, once some more renderings. These were from the landscape plan, but I thought they helped give more perspective. And then this is looking down on the backyard swimming pool. And once again, the renderings from front and back. And then as for comments, the city departments and divisions, the following, they provided some comments with some recommendations of standard conditions of approval, which are typically imposed on similar projects. And only one public comment was received, just in the form of the homeowners association notification, but otherwise there was no comments in support or opposition of the project. As for recommended conditions, I'll just briefly go over this. This reflects the findings of the report. Number one, restudy the north elevation and step back the second floor in areas from the first floor. Two, restudy the design of the covered entry and street-facing facade to reduce the appearance of mass. The exterior lighting fixtures shall be limited to reasonable quantity to their location. Actually, you know what? I wonder if my conditions were accidentally copied from another report. They don't seem to match up. These don't match up with the staff report, do they? Okay. Let me tell you what. Let me just bring that from the staff report. That was a typo on my part. Yeah, that's a typo on my part. Let me just. That's an oversight on my part from last night. Let me just bring up the staff report and read the actual conditions.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Los Flores. One moment, please. Oh.
Yes, I think those are actually.
They are?
Except for number 2?
Yeah.
number 2
I think I
don't
must
see on
have,
there.
No, it's there.
Nice. What you did is you have two conditions on the staff report, and then there's all the 2, 3, 4, 5
right.
are subcategory.
Yes, so let me, yeah. And of course, the Word document isn't opening up here, so I'm going to just bring it from the
Yeah, it's the
from the
last of
actual,
it,
what we
just
see on the internet.
same one.
Condition one had 5 subsections, and
Here we go. Okay. Okay. Thank you again for your patience. Okay. Apologize, that was an oversight on my part when I was doing this presentation. That's probably when I found the zoning error and I made the call without typing the conditions. So let me restate this for the record. So revisions to the site plan, elevations, roof plan, floor plans, and/or details of the new construction shall be submitted to staff for review and approval prior to plan check as follows. Restudy the north elevation and step back the second floor in areas from the first floor. Restudy the design of the covered entry and street-facing facade to reduce that appearance of mass of that covered entry. The exterior lighting fixtures shall be limited in reasonable quantity to their location to the main entry, egress doors, and vehicle entrance. Plan light fixtures on the street-facing facade, one by the garage, one by the north side gate, and one may locate on either on or under the covered patio. So that way you have 3. And on the rear facade, one by the north side yard and one by the south side yard. Include all equipment, enclosures, rain gutters, downspouts, utility connections, and ensuring that their placement complements the building design, materials, and colors. And that the landscape plans must be revised to ensure that all selected plant species are classified for low or very low water usage. And lastly, the condition, one condition to ensure that, in light of the minor amendment, that we note that the plans that were submitted today, June 12th, with that 3-car garage, which corrects for the zoning code, is that would be the one that would be conditionally approved by the design review board and reflected in the plan check later on.
Thank you so much for that
Thank you.
presentation. Questions for staff? I have a quick question. On the proposed new floor plan, can you go back? Yeah. Right there, yep. Do they still plan on having that window in the back?
I don't know, but maybe we'll save that for the applicant.
Okay. A question, yes.
In regards to staff's condition of restudying the north elevation, you mentioned the northwest corner. I was looking through the drawings. It doesn't have a north arrow, but I kind of figured that north is, in this case.
Right. So
The upper right.
let's say this is facing the street, and you're right,
When you say
it is not.
this, can you
Yeah.
like show it with your cursor, because
Okay.
it's hard for us.
Right,
to-
okay, very good, thank you. So over here is north. So if this is a north arrow, it would be facing this way.
Got it.
So this
And
is north.
in regards to staff's recommendation of softening up the northwest facade, what are some thoughts there? I know you alluded to it, or you, not alluded, you mentioned it during staff's presentation, but I'm wondering if you could just re-emphasize it for us.
Right, so as you can see, while it steps back, it's really the step back here. This is while we appreciate there's about a foot step back along this building plane, but it's still one uncut building plane, aside from the window there. And we thought that still needs a little more articulation.
And do you have the color elevations, the north color elevation? I think you had it up earlier.
Elevation here?
Yes, so that's the east and west.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think we have color elevations. We just have the black and white elevations here.
So it would be the bottom one.
Yeah. Right.
And is that a sloped, so that's a roof of some sort, right? It is, I assume it's not flat, it is.
Right.
I guess it is flat, and then there's a parapet. Is that how I should read that? If
We
go
can
back
compare,
to your,
yeah, so what you see is almost like it is like a parapet here.
It-
Yeah.
and then is that flat portion gravel and landscaping like it is above the entry?
I believe so.
So can you go back to the north elevation?
And just to compare, let's see. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it does appear to be that, what you described here and here. And then the north elevation here.
No,
I'm sorry. There you go.
there it is.
This
Yeah,
one.
if you would just keep it there for a moment.
Okay.
And so the railing on the right side, that is the railing of really the balcony of that northwest
Affirmative.
bedroom. Okay, and it does seem like it's a flat roof area behind the parapet. I don't think it's landscaped, but we could certainly ask the applicant that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Welch, question?
Yeah, on the, your condition number 3 about the lighting, you said plan light fixtures on the street-facing facade, and I assume what you're saying is this is what they should be allowed, 1 by the garage, 1 by the north side gate, 1 may locate on either side of the covered patio, but that's in the rear, I think.
Yeah,
And
that's
1
right.
on the rear facade, 1 by the north side yard, and 1 by the south side yard. Could you just clarify, because I'm a little confused by how this is phrased.
Sure, yeah. So when we look at the actual elevation, you have, on the front, you have several light fixtures, so that's why I specified. So I was suggesting, it would be reasonable to put 1 here between the gate and the garage, another one over here by this gate, because we're presuming that that's another pedestrian access point, and then here by the entry. So, but what you're seeing is you have 1, 2 gates that seem to have pedestrian access, and then the door. So we should be illuminating just those areas and nothing above that. And then as for the rear, again, just because the side yards are accessible, that's why I pointed those out as well. But otherwise, it appears to be over-illuminated.
So when you say on the north side yard and south side yard, you're referring to these pedestrian access points?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We consider the side yard areas where the homeowner could walk through. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
so if we go back to the north and south elevation that we were assessing, so I'm not seeing light fixtures on the north and south side. what staff is alluding to is actually the east and west facade.
Correct.
Understood, okay.
Is that all?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Any other questions? All right. I have 2 speaker cards. Thank you, Alan, for that presentation. I have 2 speaker cards. I have Joe and Mary. Was there anyone else that wanted to speak, or was it just 2 speaker cards? Okay. 3 total. Do you all have Stephanie's card?
Yes.
Okay. Did the applicant or architect want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. If you could just state your name, please, for the mic.
My name is Mary Sherbetchyan.
Sorry. When you get closer, please. Sorry.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mary Sherbetchyan. I am the applicant. I am here with my husband, Shant Sherbetchyan, my daughter, Sevana, and my son, Daniel. I wrote a little note. Dear Design Review Board members, thank you so much for your time this evening joining us here. We are a family of 4 who have had the joy of calling 1920 Las Flores Drive our home for the past 12 years. Shant and I purchased this home as newlyweds, full of hope and excitement for the life we would build together. And not long after, we welcomed our daughter, and followed by our son, now 9 and 8 years old, who have only ever known this house as their home. Over the years, we've grown as a family and built deep connections within the community. We love our neighbors, we love our street, and we truly love Glendale. This isn't just a place where we live, it is certainly the heart of our family life. We're not developers or investors. We're simply a local family who hopes to remain here for many years to come. As our children grow and our needs evolve, we found that we've outgrown the current footprint of our home. And of course, with your approval, we're excited for the opportunity to thoughtfully expand and create a space that better suits our family's future, while preserving the charm and certainly the integrity of our neighborhood. Thank you again for your time and consideration, and for giving families like ours the chance to create our dreams into a reality. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
No, this time.
Nope.
I know our architect will be speaking soon, but some of the conditions may have been already addressed in February. I noticed that, so she'll elaborate a little bit more on that.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary. All right. Next, we have Stephanie Harush.
Our neighbors are here.
Okay.
Do you mind if they go before?
Sure. Joe Volpe, if you could state your name, please, for the mic.
Joe Volpe.
Thank you.
And I'm the neighbors. I was there 1 year before they showed up. They think I'm here to support them. I am. I will not tell you about the wild parties. There are none. Will not tell you about the crazy kids. There are none. They happen to be truly one of the nicest families you will ever live next door to. And in watching them grow and watching the children being born, I think that this is the next greatest step as a family to build their own home in an area that they love. So I just wanted to say I support them very much.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being an awesome neighbor also. All right. Next, we have Stephanie. Welcome back, Stephanie. If you could please state your name.
Good evening, members. My name is Stephanie Haroche, principal of Design Studio, XID Design Studio. Nice to see you again. So I wanted to go over a presentation that I do today that kind of like will help you through the process from the beginning of the design through what we have today. So again, this is a proposed new 2-story single-family dwelling with an attached 3-car garage as of this morning, with a detached pool cabana, totaling 4 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, on a lot that is 680 square feet. The total square footage FAR that we came up this morning with after the modification that we made is 3,654 square feet. On the next slide, I'm going to show you what we received as conditions in January and how we improved the design, the mass and scale of the house after addressing those issues. The first comment that we had on the letter from January, dated January 22nd of 2025 this year, was an issue of mass and scale. Mass and scale needs to be revised on the north corner of the building. And the issue number 2, issue B, was about design and detailing. The design and detailing of the entryway should be revised. It should be further reduced in height, and some decorative elements should be added to further define the Mediterranean style. This, what you see in here on the right side, are the previous elevation that were originally submitted online. And we also have access of how it originally looked like. So if you can zoom out, that would be great. So I'm just going to look at the axles for now. So as you can see, we annotated in blue the roof line that was already existing on the very first iteration of the design, in the front and in the back. In purple, what you see on the floor plan is the actual, the little setback that we were originally proposing on the north face of the house. It was a smaller area. The front of the house was a lot more massive. It was aligning perfectly with the wall downstairs in the dining room. If you go to the next slide, I'm going to show you how we addressed some of the conditions. So issue number A, we decided to actually further that setback or that jog, which is about 1.7 feet, on 24 feet on the long side of the wall, which is on the north side of the house. So it's 24 feet times 1.5 feet of jog on the front, so it's the northwest and the north side of the house.
2 more minutes.
Yes, and we also decided to cancel some of the roof line that was originally on the original design. So we broke up some of the roof line. We added a Juliet balcony on the northwest side of the house. We created a corbel. We created a sweep, so a decorative sweep all around the house with corbels supporting that sweep. We also reduced drastically the entry porch. It originally was 12 feet wide by 15.5 feet tall. It became 10.5 feet wide by 13.5 feet tall. We also added a sweep on the top, a decorative belt with corbels on the porch to actually further define the Mediterranean and Spanish Revival style. We also added trims around the French doors. We made a major adjustment to the southwest corner above the garage, where we cut out a piece of the roof line extruding above the garage to create more massing deviation in the front. And I think and then in the next slide, you will see, this is the color palette. So I brought some samples here just to show you how neutral and very classy that would be. And then on the next slide, we're also showing you the before and after. So on the top is the renderings that were edited after the planning letter that were received in January. And on the bottom is what we originally submitted. So you can see a real transformation after we got the comments back in January. And you can see that also in the rear elevation or the rear renderings, which is the next slide.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I
Yes.
go.
Please go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reviewing the elevations that were submitted this morning and the color renderings, it seems as though there's a rooftop cactus garden that is now surrounding both the front entry and the rear entry and the rear. How do you plan to service that area because, for example, it's going through the interior of the house to get up there, et cetera. So have you discussed that with the ownership?
So we
It
did-
is possible. Of course, everything's possible. But do they understand kind of the difficulties of a gardener going up there and the waterproofing involved with
Exactly. So
waterproofing
discussed.
the roof, et cetera?
Exactly. So we discussed. So there's ways, like right now, there could be pots with those plants, or there could be an integrated planter. From what I understand from ownership, they would prefer having a pot, a longer pot, like a pot of plant, and not an integrated planter onto the roof because that would be, we have to account for the load, a structural load on that. We also have to account for waterproofing issue. So they could also be, large pots that could also just be exactly at the height of that parapet, and then you only see the vegetation coming out of it.
And so just, as a discussion point, let's say the top rendering above the entry, there is a flat portion behind the parapet, and between the parapet and the railing for the balcony is a flat area. So what you're envisioning is actual planters that are placed on the floor of the roof
Right.
that more or less are at the same height as the parapet, that, and then what happens on that parapet, on the roof portion between all the planters?
We will have to have proper drainage on top of that.
And the same in the rear?
And then, and then it probably will have downspouts on both sides of the porch to drain that area.
And what is the intent of it? Are you trying to soften up the facade, therefore putting landscaping up there as a form of softening it up? Is that your intent architecturally?
I think the intent was, there were discussion about it, and it was to soften also, like to create more of like a more vivid environment with plants and landscaping throughout the house. The other option that we could do is, since the porch is going to be cladded in the limestone, we can also clad the top and just have a proper parapet and just a roof on top of that, and have drainage to the side and drain to the side of the porch.
It almost would be a thicker parapet,
Yes,
in a sense.
in a sense.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing up that option.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you've studied the conditions that staff has provided to us here, numbering 1 through 6 here. What are your reactions to that? Do you have pushback against them? Are you happy with them? What are you saying?
Well, some of them were already addressed back in February, which is what my presentation was about.
Okay.
The lighting fixtures, I think what we're showing on there, I think the ones that are in the porch area, I mean, if we're gonna have one coming down from the inside of the porch, we can potentially cancel the ones on the side. I think it's probably like maybe over aggressive. So, and I just consulted with ownership. We could potentially do that. And what I know is that the street is pretty dark. So they really wanted to make sure that when they get to the house, when they pull into the house and the driveway, they have enough light with the kids to make sure that it's safe enough, that there's nobody around, or just part of the safety.
So the light that I see in the cut sheet here is all glass, so it casts light out. Would you consider one that's more wall washing, putting
We
light
can,
up and
definitely.
down or something like that? Or-
We can revise
Okay.
the lighting fixture.
I mean, I asked about the conditions a minute ago because we're being asked to approve this project with these conditions, which means that it says restudy the north elevation and step back the second floor. So even though you think you have addressed these things, they're still saying, if I'm understanding correctly, that they think it should be pushed back more. Okay? So I just want to get your reaction to that, because these are what we're being asked to consider tonight. So I want you to weigh in on whether you think any one of these 6 numbers we should not include or adjust or whatever. So this is your chance to argue with us about it.
I believe that we've especially on the, okay, so I'll go with the setback. right now, we made the setback deeper, so it's 24 feet, and it's 19 inches wide as a setback on the second floor.
You're talking about the north.
The north side.
North setback, you set it back 1 foot plus by 24 feet.
So we made that adjustment. We could, if you look at the floor plans, and we can probably go to the second floor plan. I think we can, if you, I mean, I feel like we can, we can push that another foot, and that would give you 2'7" as an offset.
And how about the entryway?
That's the north side
Yeah,
setback.
no, I know. And then that's, the second
And then
one
the
was.
next one is the entryway. So we reduced it, as I mentioned, from 12, 15 and a half to 10 and a half, 13.5.
And so
and-
you think
and
that it's the current design or the one as was submitted this morning is good to go?
I believe that proportionally, when I look at the rendering, it's in good proportion, but I'm willing to listen to your comments further.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Thank you so much. Do we have any callers?
No callers so far.
All right. So we are going to end the public portion of the hearing, go into deliberation. Member Welsh, did you want to go first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, generally speaking, I support the project. Let me just state that out there for the record. So I just want to really make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of the conditions. From my perspective, you know, I think you have done an improvement to the entryway. I think it's borderline monumental. I don't necessarily feel it's overly monumental. So I'm actually okay with it as it is. I might, if it were me, I might try to do some different material or surfacing on it to help it stand out a little bit, and then that would enable you to shrink it down visually a little bit. But, you know, I don't really care that much. On the north facade, stepping the second floor back a little bit, I mean, I appreciate that you did step it back some. I think you could step it back some more. What I don't necessarily want to see is just more flat roof in that area. So I think that I'd either be inclined to leave it as it is, or if they do have to step it back more, have more of a you know, the tile roof or something like that in that area. I definitely concur with staff on the lighting. I think it's way overlit, so I think that you need to restudy that. You don't want a lot of light pollution spilling out into the street, spilling out to the neighbors. I don't care what you do in the backyard. You're facing a hillside back there. You can do whatever you want back there. You have a lot of public spacing, you know, party area and family area and stuff like that. That's fine. But it is definitely something that I don't like to see as overlit facades. You can do landscape lightings, that's fine, but overlit facades is you know, it's an encumbrance on the neighborhood, and I don't think it's necessary. So I think I'm okay with staff's recommendation here that we limit the number of facades, lighting on the facade. And I would certainly encourage you to go with lights that are shielded. You know, they light up and down, maybe a little bit of light that come out, but glass ones really blast out a lot of light. And the other three conditions, 4, 5, and 6, those are fine. So those are my thoughts on it. Generally, I support the project. I think it's you know, a nice home in the neighborhood. I don't, it's big, yes, but tends to be bigger homes in the area, so I don't think that there's a problem with that. How it's laid out and everything, I think it works well. I think it's stepped back from the street, so it's not going to be overly egregious. I did visit the site, saw the story poles, and you know, I don't think that it's going to be out of character and out of scale with the neighborhood. So I support the project, and you know, again, I'm eager to hear my fellow board members' thoughts on the conditions 1 and 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Simonian?
Thank you. I'll start off and say that I also support the project. I think it's well done. I've been studying the drawings during this presentation, trying to get a better grasp as to some of the conditions that are being proposed, and at the same time, some solutions that are present. And I'll just start off by saying I think that the use of the material, the high quality of the material is present here, and I appreciate that. I like the scale of the front facade and also the rear facade. I don't particularly have an issue with it, so I agree with Board Member Welsh on that end as well. And in fact, I really like that garage door that's proposed and how that kind of couples with the glass entry. I think that will work well. In regards to the lighting, I think if the light fixtures on the left and right side are maintained, where we get rid of the light fixtures next to maybe the entry, so maybe just, these two are eliminated because there'll be a lot of light coming in from inside the house anyways. Through those glass doors, I think that will work well. In regards to the roof landscaping, I mean, I like it. I think it's beautiful. I just think it's going to be very hard to maintain. But the solution, and the reason why I asked what was the mindset behind it, was it to soften up the facade, and thank you for being honest, yes, and it is a good solution. But it is a very hard, it's a maintenance-heavy solution on the long term. However, there might be some things that I would suggest and see, what my fellow board members would consider. When I'm looking at this facade, I think what is really successful is, let's say there's this kind of parapet with the railing behind it. And so if this parapet kind of comes across, and I'll show it to staff as well, if this kind of parapet comes across. So if this parapet comes across, both in this area and in this area, and the railing is behind it, I think I'll soften up that facade quite a bit because it won't just seem as ornamental railing-wise. So if that's the intent of softening it up, I think this sort of if this band of parapet just continues over and this railing is behind it, I think that would make a big difference. If the idea is to have this landscaping behind it and they want to keep it, great. If the idea is, the intent is just to try to soften it up, well, I think a flat kind of portion there, but not a very deep one, would suffice as well. And for the side, I think if we're going too deep, then the big flat parapet probably isn't practical, and some sort of tiled roof area would make sense. However, I'm personally okay with something being set back 1'7". At times we ask for another 6 inches, we ask for another foot. In this case, it's 1'7" by 24 feet. So I don't particularly have an issue with monumentality on that north facade. And if I had to make a suggestion, though, I would soften up these entry balconies by kind of integrating that language that I described. In regards to the rear facade and the rear lighting, I agree with Board Member Welsh. I don't particularly have an issue with those light fixtures in the backyard. And so when I'm looking at these conditions, restudied the north elevation, I made some comments on that. The second is restudied the design of the covered entry. I agree it's borderline as far as possibly being monumental, but I do think that overall it works. So I don't really have an issue with that entry. But I think that we should think about how to address that maintenance item, because those landscape pots could go away 4 or 5 years later, right? And so it's something to be mindful of. But even if it goes away, it's already set back and it's not the biggest deal in regards to that flat area. Exterior lighting, we talked about. The fourth is include all equipment, enclosures, rain gutters, downspouts. That's a given. The landscape, not an issue as far as making it drought tolerant. And condition number 2 on page 9 is not a big deal either. So overall, I support the project. If I don't support condition number 1 to increase that setback on the north side, and possibly reducing the front lighting of the 2 light fixtures next to the front entry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, overall, again, I'm in support of the project, and I want to congratulate. I mean, it's the quality of material that was selected and the quality of package that got put together, this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen. Even though I've been here a short period of time, I think this package is fantastic. And I want to also congratulate the staff, Mr. Allen. You've done a fantastic job of explaining everything, so I appreciate that. Overall, again, I'm in support of the project. I do have also concern if we increase the setback on the north elevation. Now we're introducing more a flat roof, which it will become a maintenance issue, in my opinion. It may not even look nice. So I'm fine as it is. I do echo your comments, Mr. Sinanian and Mr. Walsh, with the lighting and overall kind of making the front facade less, or not less, but, softening up a little bit. So as far as the landscaping goes, again, I would like to ask, I think you answered the question. If they really desire to have a landscape there, you can have it, but it's long-term, it might be a maintenance issue. So but overall in support. But thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I concur with my fellow board members. I think you've done a great job with putting the design of the house together. Excited to see it come alive. I am in that area pretty often, have family in there, so looking forward to it, and excited for your growing family as well to enjoy this. Overall, like I said, I'm in support of the project. I think you guys have done an excellent job. When you do, originally look at it, you're like, it could potentially be monumental, but I do agree that, it is that borderline, but I think you guys have done a lot of great job with the different materials that you guys are using. Just excellent all around. In regards to the lighting, I agree with, removing the ones from the front and keeping them mostly in areas like staff said, where there's, pedestrian being used or going back and forth. And in regards to the landscape, do have the same issues. Whenever you brought that up, Board Member Simonian, it is going to be a potential maintenance issue with having to continuously, take care of that. But I do think it does break it up a good amount too and softens it. So I would like to see some sort of, as you were saying, Board Member Simonian, with the front facade, I would support something like that as well. But yeah, those are my overall comments. I don't know if, we have some stuff here that we were discussing, which was like restudying the north elevation setback, what our thoughts are about that, and how we want to move forward with those two additional.
Well, I think I heard consensus that the condition number one, restudy the north elevation and step back the second floor, is probably not necessary. So we all pretty much in accord with that? Okay. I think that we're mostly in agreement with the number two one as well, at least the intent, which was to, reduce the appearance of the mass of that. Now, if Board Member Simone wants to suggest something that has to do with the landscaping, stuff like that, and replacing the VAT, but in my opinion, it's their choice. If they want to put potted plants on their patios and stuff like that, I don't have a problem with that, and I'm not sure that we should really dictate to them on that. I think that we should let that go. But I think this second condition of restudy the design of the covered entry and street-facing facade to reduce the appearance of mass can also be eliminated. I would be okay with doing that.
Eliminating.
Eliminating it, yep.
Yep. So the first two eliminated.
Yep.
Keeping 3, keeping 4.
For 3, I think we can adjust it a little bit, though, because, again, I think we're in concurrence that what they do in the rear yard is not no big deal. I think that the condition 3 should be addressing really just the front-facing facade, that we need to limit the amount of light that is on the front-facing facade so that it does not, create light pollution onto the street. For example, by removing the 2 sconces on either side of the arched front entryway, and, maybe adjusting the light fixture to a shielded light instead of all glass. So that's how I would phrase it.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So then I'll move to approve the project, deleting the first two conditions, modifying the third lighting condition to state that the street facade lighting design shall eliminate the two light fixtures on either side of the entry, and also integrate some sort of a shielded light fixture for the front.
I'll second that.
Pardon, as a point of order.
And the other
And we're going to
conditions
remove
stay, yeah.
the rear facade on that, right?
Pardon, as a point of order, I apologize. Also, we should include what's not illustrated on this list of conditions is the added condition that we wanted to ensure that that the plan set that was submitted to this morning that describes the 3-car garage and the expanded floor area on the second floor, that is indeed.
We should
the
add
plan.
that as a condition here.
Yes, that way
Okay.
we're clear for
That's
the
fine.
record.
I think we're all
Yeah.
fine on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, yep.
Yep. So that's the condition. I mean, that's the motion.
Okay, that was a motion by Board Member Simonian to approve with conditions as noted, and a second by Board Member Welch. Board Member Simonian,
Yes?
Board Member Welch,
Yes.
Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
Chair Kaskanian.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Good luck to you all. Good job.
I'm going to use the restroom. Real quick. The presentation happens.
Yeah, I have mine.
Welcome aboard.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to take a quick minute break?
He rented the restaurant. He said that would be right down, so should we?
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Okay, we'll take a few-minute recess. Thank you.
Okay, so we're back, and 6:51. I didn't even jot down the time we took.
I think, is there someone at the door? If it's locked. Does that door lock? I don't know.
It's not supposed to.
Okay. All right, Milka, thank you.
Okay. So this last item before you is located on 1921 Chilton Drive. It's case number PDR 004-173-2024. And the project involves the demolition of an existing one-story, 1,645 square foot single-family house built in 1937. They're proposing to construct a new two-story, 2,645 square foot single-family house with an attached 500 square foot two-car garage. The lot size is 8,825 square feet. It's located in the R1 zone, floor area ratio District 1. And a little bit of context. And this is the existing house that they're proposing to demolish. It's a Spanish-style home. Frontage is about 60 feet wide. It gently slopes from north to south, but the house is located on relatively a flat pad. We talked a little bit about when it was built, the development that's there now, and what they're proposing to do as part of the project, which is again to demo the existing house and garage. And the proposed new two-story house will be 27 feet 8 inches overall height. And this is the proposed site plan. They're proposing to keep the existing swimming pool at the back and obviously redo the landscaping. The driveway will basically remain more or less in the same place. And then they'll turn into the garage, more into a 90-degree type turn in for the garage. But a little bit a change compared to what's out there now, because right now there's a detached garage, so they drive straight in through the driveway to the back where the garage is, but this time they're proposing the garage at the front. We do have a comment regarding site planning as it relates to the garage, simply because since most of the homes in the neighborhood do have a detached garage at the back, and again, in terms of, in the spirit of consistency, in terms of the neighborhood pattern, staff is suggesting for the garage to be relocated towards the back as a detached, similar to the existing site conditions and adjacent development again, in the neighborhood pattern. So the adjacent homes are two-story. There are some that has split level, like at the back where it appears to be a one-story from the front, meaning the adjacent property at the rear, but then the rear appears to be split level. And this is directly across the street, where again, same concept, due to the slope in this area, appears to have a one-story appearance for some homes, but as you can see, like in this bottom across the street, this home here appears to have two-level type volume towards the rear. This one, I believe, across the street would be one, I believe, is a two-story. Yes, it's a two-story home, and then there's some, but not too many. Predominantly is a one-story neighborhood. However, the applicant has, properly addressed mass and scale to mitigate potential overwhelming mass and scale due to the two-story volume or story that's being introduced. There's a landscape plan that they are incorporating drought tolerant, and then I'll jump straight to the elevations. So we talked about the first condition. Another comment that we're suggesting is to provide a detailed cut sheet of the precast window surround, just to specify the material, making sure it's not foam or anything like that, make sure they're using high quality materials for the window surrounds. Also, cement junctions of details where the materials intersect, and then reducing the number of fixtures at the front, mainly to be limited to entry doors, entry doors, balconies, et cetera, as opposed to adjacent to windows. But in terms of mass and scale, staff didn't really have major comments to that effect, simply because, again, seemingly the proposed home, the size, the scale is relatively modest. While it is adjacent to, and most of the homes in the neighborhood are one-story, the home's mass and scale is appropriately articulated by, again, placing the second story away from the street, stepping back the second floor from the ground level, especially along that front facade, as well as east and west, meaning from neighboring properties. And also the facades, again, are appropriately articulated through the use of cladding material, fenestration, breaks and plane, roof line, and design detailing, incorporating, again, the cladding material, stone cladding at the base. Hipped roof forms help kind of reduce that more exposed wall surfaces, if you will, and introduce more roof surface. And in terms of, again, design detailing, a couple more views from the front and the rear. The balcony, again, is focused at the back, facing the rear yard, as opposed to on the sides where it could potentially compromise privacy. But in this case, again, they're limiting the balcony and the outdoor patio areas facing their rear yard. But again, in terms of design detailing, it's designed more in a contemporary, modern style with some traditional style elements, introducing, again, a variety of volumes, mix of materials, cladding material, breaks and plane, windows, again, the balconies, all to mitigate potential massive scale, and also introducing some or incorporating some design elements that are appropriate to the style and the design of the house and to the neighborhood. With that, I'll conclude my remarks, since I've kind of gone over some of the suggested conditions for the board to consider, but staff is recommending approval with those conditions listed in the staff report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff?
I have
Yes.
one. So when you talk about this proposed precast window surround, I didn't really see any window surrounds per se. Are you talking about the ledging above the
Yeah, I
stone
think-
veneer?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, all right, I just wanted a clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope. All right. We can go into public comments. We have Hamlet Zorabians. If you could please say your name. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Chair Kaskanian and members of the board. My name is Hamlet Zorabians. I'm the project architect. My address is 3467 Ocean View Boulevard, Suite B, Glendale, 91208. So the project before you is a very modest project. It's a 2,600 square feet, two-story house. And we've been very careful as far as placement of the building itself and how we work out the second floor. So the second floor is set back from the first floor, as you heard. And that's, I'm reiterating these things because these are important issues, obviously, to everyone. Their second floor is set back 5 feet all around from even the sides, from the edge of the first floor. And so the front, as far as front is concerned, because the garage is placed in the front, we have a 25-foot setback to the garage itself. And then because of the courtyard that we have in front of the garage, we have an extra 20 feet, 6 inches, in addition to the 25 feet. So that means actually the building sitting back, not the garage itself, which is 1 story, but you're talking about the 2-story element of it. It sits back from our property line 45 feet, some 45 feet, if you would appreciate that. So what that does is that it just moves the mass back, and appropriately, the mass is mitigated by setting it side 5 feet from the side. You can imagine what happens there. The whole idea is to be able to create a backyard which is functional for the family, and also nice landscaping, and to let the light in and all of that. So keeping the existing swimming pool and the surrounding of the swimming pool, which is about 30 inches above the level of the house itself, it's a given thing. So it just gives us this opportunity to work out all these setbacks for the front. We have eliminated the existing driveway, that is very narrow driveway going all the way back to the existing garage, but the existing garage, obviously, it's not in conformance to the new code. It's a very smaller garage, and it was in a very dilapidated form because part of it sits right by the soil. So that is going to be gone. So we're removing all that. The garage comes in the front, and that's something that my client from the very beginning was stressing the fact. They didn't want to necessarily back up into the street, and they wanted to have maneuvering, if you will, spaces there to back up the cars, to be able to not to back into the street itself directly. And so first level, it lends itself to the living space, which is an open concept that we are seeing there. And then there is an internal stair that goes up for the 3 bedrooms upstairs, which master bedroom or master suite is towards the back. And as also mentioned, there's the balcony only, which is right in the center, in the middle of the building in the back, facing the backyard. We don't have any huge terraces or anything like this at all. And so even the entrance is a very modest entrance. We didn't want to, to create something very monumental. It's very horizontal, as you can see. And the comments that are in the conditions of approval, when the board members are asking about what that precast material is all around, none of the windows will have any kind of precast surround or anything around them. Windows are set in, and the detail shows that, how we are coming with that. So the plaster, we're just going to come with a clean plaster edge and setting the window in. The only window that we are talking about where we have a precast frame around it, that's the window in front, which is a larger window, fixed window that we have there. And that's very consistent with keeping, it's very in keeping with the style of it. And so we have natural stone veneer that we have incorporated mostly in the front, but it carries itself all the way, all around to the back. As far as conditions of approval, because the staff has recommended approval with conditions. Obviously, the rest of the conditions that we have only, I think, about 6 conditions, and the rest of the conditions at the end, we're all okay with it. Obviously, we'll provide 6 or 4 conditions. I think 4 conditions. Yeah, we have other projects. So it's a 4 condition. And last 3 conditions we're fine with it. Obviously, we'll provide whatever it is. Lessening the light fixtures are okay with us. What we have issue with is the first condition that was recommended. And for that, I've gone back to the neighborhood. I've surveyed the neighborhood. There are homes within our property that are facing the street with the garage. Ours is not even facing the street. What we are doing, we have turned around the garage. And when you're looking at the facade of the garage, as you can see, you can't even see the garage there. There's only one way of seeing the garage when you're coming from west to east driving, and you can imagine 40 feet inside, you can be able to see the glimpse of the garage door. So this is a very common treatment that has been very well received. And just to mitigate the issue of not having to face the street. And so I have addresses here that within it's less than 500, but I can say just within the 500 addresses that they're all just facing the street on that particular neighborhood. And these are like, we have the 1907 Chilton, which is the two doors towards east. You can clearly see that there's this house has a garage that is facing the street. So we're not the only one there that is facing this issue. 2031, 2070, 2042, 2029, 1923. These are all houses, the existing houses that have garages facing to the street. Now, obviously, we have remedied that by our design, and we introduced much more front setback, and that's what I was going to explain to you. And because of the shortness of time, there's so many things that I cannot really go through it. But there's a particular house, if we can if we can see that house, I think we can get a glimpse of what we are proposing. 1540 Allen Avenue, if we can.
You want me to,
Can give you like 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Is that's enough time for you to finish your thought?
Maybe a minute, if you can give me I just want you
Okay.
to see that, so you can get a kind of a notion of that. 1540 Allen Avenue, if you can go there, the front facade. It's a very similar design that is done, and it's been approved. It's pretty close to our property. Allen, yeah. Yeah, you can see this particular two-story building, how basically what it is that the garage of it is in front, right? Yeah, you see that garage there? Okay, the front is the garage, and it steps back and pushes the second floor back, towards that. But when you're looking at from the street, that window, that the fenestration that is right in front of you, it's as if it's a room. It's not readily, telling you that it's a garage, but it's a garage, and it's very, very nicely done. I was not the architect on that, but I think I really liked the way it was treated, and that was recently approved. And so what I'm trying to say, we're not proposing or suggesting something that is foreign, style. This is something that will be nicely incorporated into the neighborhood, especially when we have pushed the second story that much back. And if we had to do otherwise, I'm sorry, if I can, if we had to keep the garage in the back, then we had no choice to push the whole building front, and then you were not going to have that 40-some feet of setback there. Instead, you will have it closer. So it's give or take, what it is. I think this is the best scenario that we're having, which gives you a lot of opportunity to move the second floor back.
Thank
And
you.
so if you have any questions, I'll be available to
Any
answer.
questions?
No.
Any questions? Nope, we're good.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Next speaker we have is Denise Alves. If you could please state your name for the mic.
Hi, my name is Denise Alves. I live at 1920 Hampton Lane, right behind the property. My in-laws bought the property in 1971. The main reason they bought it was the view. So now that's going to be gone, which I know we don't have a right to a view. And I didn't look at the plans until today. I was able to look at them, but what bothers me is that upper patio is right into my backyard. I mean, there's no, and like you said, the setback, it's back further. I have a picture I can show you. I'm sorry I didn't print it out, but I don't know if you can take a look at it, or?
You can email it over to her.
yeah, you can email it, and then we will need it for the record.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just curious, because I was hoping it was just gonna be windows, but it's a big master balcony, and it just goes right into my backyard. Our house is street level, and the backyard goes down, and then our back of the house is second story. But we can't see into their yard, we can't, any of it. But what they're proposing, like I said, we had a view, but it just, takes it all over. So I don't know if there's any way to re-review, the patio that's gonna they be there, or I know I don't want to be, a pain in the rear, but a bad neighbor, but I don't, have a problem with the bill, but he is just huge. The way it's set, I'll send you the picture. You'll be able to see. So I don't know if anybody's looked from my property back there, but I'm not sure. But I'll send the picture. If you can give me the email to send it.
Why don't, you can come to me afterwards, and then we can discuss it, because it would have been nice to have it in advance so I can
Right, I
distribute it.
didn't realize that I couldn't do that, and I just looked up the plans today. I think you told me the plans will be out, and I just looked them up, and I just realized that it was.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but that's
Yeah,
my
you can-
concern.
yeah.
And he was talking about the privacy on either side, which is great, but.
I just
you know,
don't
we
have the ability to print from here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can show her after.
And
but,
Okay.
Yeah,
just a question, you said
Sure.
you're 1920 Hampton? Thank you.
yep.
So the house is, I'm just looking at the plans, it's identified here on the site plan.
Okay.
And it's showing the distance, because they're going to keep the existing pool. So it's about a 54-foot interior setback from the rear property line to the building is what is shown on the site plan, to the new house.
So that's, I just thought I'd come, I've never done this before, I've never, you know, I just
And we
thought if I
appreciate you
don't
coming
say
and speaking. Yeah, no.
you know, so.
Yep.
And I don't, like I said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but at least I said something.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right. Any callers?
None at the moment.
No callers. Okay. We'll close the public portion.
Well, you could give Hamlet a rebuttal
Oh,
period if you want.
sorry. Yes, you're correct. I don't know if there's anything rebuttal that you'd like to say to that.
Yeah, I would say something. They're so nice
Thank you.
explaining their position. I don't know if you can go to the second floor, so they can also, you know, understand where is that? Because this is not a big, huge terrace. This is not off of a living space sort of family room or anything like this. It's just for the master bedroom, have a balcony back then, which is already in the second floor, if you look at it, and it's just worked within the roof itself. So the roof, slope roof is on the sides. You can see that's the balcony we're talking about. And that's 55, 56 feet from the property line. And their house also has a rear setback all the way to their house. So it's not like we're very immediate to there. Nevertheless, the depth of this balcony, it's just about 6 feet. It's not going to be a party, terrace or anything like this. So it's just for the, if he wants to smoke or something, he wants to come, outside and smoke, or whatever it is. It's just a balcony. It's not terrace. I just want to make that clear that we don't have a terrace that comes out of the family room that they're going to be doing anything there. So I just wanted to clear that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So we will now close the public portion, and go into deliberation.
Mr. Chair, also, I just relayed my email to this neighbor, so once I get the email, perhaps I can, if you'd like, I can show the
Can you throw
email.
it up there?
Yeah, once I receive it, if you'd like.
All right. I'll just wait.
Oh. Well, actually, I won't be able to access my emails right now. I've been locked out of my computer.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I wish we had it in advance so that they could have put it in our packet. Would have been better. But we'll go into deliberation now. Board Member Simonian, if you would like to start.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I think we've had a pretty easy time this evening because we've had, I believe, 3 well-designed projects, and this is the 3rd. I appreciate the fact that it's being set back on all the interior setbacks. Overall, it's not a big development. The site planning portion of it, that's set back twice, really, one to the garage and one to the main building. I appreciate the 5-foot setback within the sides as well. I think that makes a big difference. The existing garage is built, it has a retaining wall portion, about 2 or 3 feet. And I could see the fact that that's deteriorated. And so when we're looking at the yard, as depicted on the site plan, where we have the pool and the garage, it really doesn't leave for much room for a backyard. And so I don't particularly have an issue with the garage being in the front, especially because it's been rotated and because it does have a window in the front facing the street, so I don't have an issue with that. Overall, I think the materials that have been integrated into the design are well thought out. And as the architect pointed out, he's okay with the other conditions. So I think that was really the only main one, which was not as big of an issue for me. And so that would be my take on it. Overall, I support the project, and I would support keeping the garage as a recommendation versus making it a condition. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Welch, did you want to go?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I concur. The project is very well done, and I appreciate the fact that it's been set back so much, and the nature of the compromise that you're proposing here, basically. Because to me, that was really the only real issue is the garage on the front. Because the neighborhood it's all the garages are in the rear. And there is one house, you're right, on that block that has the two-car garage facing the street. And to me, it stood out like an eyesore because every other house have it in the back. So when I first visited the site, which I had done before reading the staff report, before anything, that was my first thought, was that garage should probably be at the rear. But, I can see the dilemma. I can see that the backyard is restricted, that by forcing it in there, you'd be forcing the structure closer to the street, so it would become more of an imposition on the street. And it's, the nature of how it's set back here is very much in keeping with the pretty large setbacks that's sort of predominant along the street there. So, it keeps most of that intact. And turning it to the side, helps, mitigate, I would say, from the fact that it's the garages in the front. It would be very different if the garage is facing the street. I think that we'd all be much more opposed to that. So, just by the fact that what this is a compromise. You're compromising the location of the property and the setbacks that you're putting on offer, both at the first story and the second story, in order to basically allow yourself this opportunity to have this garage at the front. I get it. I think that I accept the terms of the bargain, because I think you've done about the best you could in terms of site planning for what you've got here and the restrictions that you have in that backyard with that pool that they've done. And it would be a big hardship to say, oh, no, just rip out the pool and put in a new pool and then you'd be fine. So I think I'm fine. I'm fine with it. So the removal of the condition number 1, I think that I would be behind, even though my initial reaction was, the garage should be at the rear. But not hearing any opposition from the streets and how well it's been successfully integrated into the design to make it look as much like a house as possible, and having the view on the side, I think it's fine. I'm okay with that. So I'll support the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Board
Mr.
Member
Chairman. Yeah, as far as the neighbor's concerned, I'm looking at the property setback from the rear side of the property. It's approximately 55 feet, 56 feet away. And then there's additional buffer between the applicant's property and there's a pool. So there's plenty of separation, if you will, between the neighbors. So as far as privacy concerned, I don't see that, because there's just huge space between them. Going to the applicant's overall design, I do like it. I am in support of it. I do appreciate the setbacks at the front and how you oriented the garage. And I agree with my colleagues here, putting the garage in the rear, it will just eliminate the functionality of your backyard, so you would have no space. But given 25-foot setback and a 45 it balances the site, the mass and scaling. So my only thought is, if we go to rendering, Milka, I believe, yes, thank you. The front facade, there's a balcony on the top left picture. Maybe it just, it looks, yeah, it looks a solid block wall almost. So maybe if we can incorporate railing on top of it, lower that wall and put railing that kind of matches the fencing on either side. I think that will blend in better, in my opinion, and it will provide a character on the front facade. So those are my thoughts. Overall, I'm in support of the project, and I do appreciate that you specified fiberglass windows, so thank you for that.
Thank you. Overall, I'm in support of the project. Thank you, Denise, for coming and speaking today, too. You know, it's good to have community engagement, especially with like development going on in the community, so I appreciate you coming out. But yeah, and overall, like I said, it was in support of the project. Hamlet, I think you all have done a great job with the design. And I do agree, as far as removing condition number 1, or putting it as a recommendation, and then including the other 3. But yeah, overall, in support of the project. Thank you. So are we good with having condition number 1 removed, or putting it as a recommendation?
You can make it as a consideration.
Yeah, consideration.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I want to address Board Member Halajian's comment about the balcony, and I think that I would agree with his comment. I think that's changing that from a wall, stucco-based, structure into just a short railing, I think is fine.
Yep. Agree. All right.
Okay.
I agree.
Wait, do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Halajian, and then
I'll second it.
second by Board Member Simonian. And just to recap, number 1, condition 1 is now a consideration. 2, we're keeping, I think he's right, the applicant, I was referring to that front window regarding the precast, because all the other ones, they don't have any precast around or anything. It was just that front window, so I just wanted to make sure that was clear. 3 and 4 we're keeping, and then we're just going to add the condition to replace the solid railing at the front balcony with like a low transparent railing to match
The gates,
Gates, et cetera.
some railing, metal railing that can
Metal railing on the
complement the
house.
design.
Okay, approval with condition, Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
Board Member Simonian,
Yes.
Board Member Welch,
Yes.
Chair Kaskanian.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Thank you. Move to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, yes, I move we adjourn.
Yes, we're adjourned at 6:12.
Yes.